shot, do the cha-cha. Feel real good, but it's goddamn. Good mirrors, I be in the high rise. Worst news couldn't kill my vibe. Big 4 pound for the rah-rah. In the Carmelo on Lala. Whole lot of choppers like Sada. I got my baby in Prada. I got my lady in Prada. Throw a oop to my young and he hit it. I don't even be fucking these bitches. With the plug, got a couple extensions. Bitch, I just run it up in the trenches. Difference is niggas stuck in the trenches. You ain't even got a bucket to piss. Samples. Give a couple sleeves and samples. Take it to the max on this ample. Ride my wave on my paddle. Yes, I'm still above gravel. My grandma used to make scramble. Come show with my money and tell you on slap. You'll get too deep, I'ma clap you. You ain't gotta guess who I'm dissing, I'ma at you. Mannequin challenge a statue. I'ma turn bro to a pack too. He ain't not no doubt when I pass through. Distance. Mama, give me my distance. I office a lot of these Christians. Both of my kids is Muslim, but every other day like Christmas. I'm right back in. Damn, yo, what the fuck? Got an XD with extension. Got a Draco on my wish list. Round with the metal, I'm twisted. All of this shit non-fiction. Bitch, shout my chopper, no kisses. Coolie coming at these rappers like Kendrick. Got 26 singles and disses. Hold up, let me be specific. Coolie way being specific. She sucked my dick and I told her terrific. I hit her last week and she told me she missed it. Bitch, I'm 190, you blew on my ticket. Pull that white out my head like a magic trick. Rob who? Nah, I ain't having it. Watching the Wayne Lord nigga, what's happening? Shout out the Keys, we still got the activists. Me and Ty took a pop and some crack in the show. Slowed up, then fuck it, I'm back in it. Do the rock, I'm proud when I'm smacking it. People shit, yes, I'm back in my act again. All 50s on my sheet misdemeanor. Walking down with the judge, no subpoena. Got the ball, I should sleep in arenas. Riding around with my chocolate Serena. Wash what? All my shit in the cleaners. Press a nigga with the Stanley steeper. 2020, that's a 21 Beamer. Make a Mary all way down on my sneakers. Write a rap, cook some crack on my other hand. Top of turkey, then fly back to the motherland. They wouldn't understand. I got $100 million. Fuck, what the fuck is 100 grand? Oh.
Blessings and peace, everyone. Blessings and peace. How's everyone doing tonight? Willie Beeman was good. Blessings and peace to you. Blessings and peace to you, brother. The other Ray J. My fault. We're definitely about to get busy with this one, man. Tonight, also tune in to the other Ray J live. Him and Top's going to be breaking down the mathematics way of life. Believe it or not, that's actually going to overlap with this message. You know, born to be famed. Blessings to you. Music, blessings to you. What's going on, Freeport?
What's happening with you, brother? How you doing?
Not much, man. Just blessed, man. You know,
it's been a long awaited, man. A lot of people in the comments talking about they've been waiting for this another collab since the early ones we've done, and you know they seem to always get better and better, and each one tops this one. But this is going to be a fire one, man. This is a topic here. As I was telling you before, man, this was a drop that I was thinking about doing before, and I completely forgot about it. You know, when your mind is always focused on the vision, you just forget certain things, you know, and it just happens that way. But, you know, this is going to be a classic. So I think the brothers that are tuned in really going to be able to learn a lot to move forward with whatever situation. Because, again, it's not just about women and all that. It's really about vision and the way you view life.
Exactly. And the key thing to vision, you know, you want to remember is the principles of the vision as well as the discipline of the vision. You know, that's the only way you can actually manifest, you know, those blessings of the vision. You know, it's about seizing that moment.
Exactly.
Kendo was good, brother. Top was good.
Appreciate that, JP. You said the best duo. Yeah, we ran the flame, man.
Yeah.
High fly, what's happening?
Indeed, we definitely made history, man. Just starting out. You know what it was? You know, the reason why I call this thing of ours the upper echelon, because it's beyond, you know, what the two eyes can see, what the two ears can actually hear. Because it's like, remember in the beginning, you know, when we did our first one, you know, we knew that it could be something, but it was actually more than what we actually imagined. Then the second time was even more than that. You know what I mean?
It's rare that you can have brothers that can just go off. You
Hmm.
say, you know, before we had like we were talking about before, we had a list of things that we were gonna
Hmm.
discuss, you know, notes and here and there, but then we sort of tossed that within 5 minutes and
Yeah.
ended up doing 3 hours of straight freestyle lore
Hmm.
talk.
Exactly. Because when it's in you, man, it's in you. You know, as they say, when they say that saying, you know, it's either it's not on you, it's in you. Like it comes down to that belief. You know, do you believe that vision is in you?
Right.
You know,
And Kendall says, "Vision is life, the only key to happiness." That's fact.
exactly, exactly. And it even says that in the good book, man. You know, as us being, Israelites and everything like that. What it says in the main script, it says, you know, our people perish because of a lack of vision.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Exactly. The book hasn't lied yet, man.
Hmm. Exactly. Exactly. It's a pill beyond a pill. When people say, ask, red pill. I mean, not red pill. Professor Mgtow, what does he read? You know, he says, as far as you get the red pill insight that he has, and he says the Bible. You know, people, kind of like glaze over that. Like, no, that's where you really get it from. You know.
That's facts. Because it before you learn your history as Hebrew brothers, as a Hebrew man on this planet, it's hard to really see your value. I mean, you can't see your true value if you don't know who you are, what your history is. So when it comes to just having confidence, is that me echoing?
I don't know. It might be me. I don't know.
I'll make sure because I got my phone. Let me make sure that's not. I'm watching it on the YouTube for the comments. Let me turn that down. Okay, mine is turned all the way down. But it's hard to truly value yourself if you don't know who you are because you're going through life with no plan. You don't know where you're returning to. You don't know what your plan is. You know what I'm saying? So when you say that the scripture is one of the most red pill books, the most red pill book,
Hmm.
full of information, a lot of people it just goes over their head because they don't have the lenses to see the value of what's in there.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And most importantly, they don't see the value of being able to know who you are, where you come from. That's a very powerful feeling to walk through this world having a sense of idea of who you are.
Hmm.
And it's a beautiful thing. When you look back before and you're in, well, at least when I was growing up in a Jehovah Witness family, and we're
Hmm.
taught we're all equal, we're all the same, but shit, that's not the reality of the world. But
Hmm.
when you understand your faith, your nationality as a Hebrew brother, it all becomes so much clearer why you're hated. But then that's the same thing that gives you that confidence that makes you strive for more greatness, that makes you strive just to know that you're blessed to have vision, to have y'all lenses. You know what I'm saying? And have your eyes open today. That makes you a 1% man.
Hmm.
And to not be able to recognize that, to not be able to see that, there's no way you can have vision. So when we talk about this topic here, lessons of power learned from Griselda's boyfriend,
Hmm.
it's going to focus a lot on the vision, not just the superficial shit, but the vision.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's definitely a 1% man. And it's not about where you're at. It's about, more so where you're at and the mental faculty as far as within your belief and the vision.
Mhm.
Not from where you're in your physical position, because he was really just really a mid tier, dope boy. We're not glorifying the game or whatever like that, but just giving you the principles of it. Now he was just a regular, mid tier, drug dealer. He seized a moment or an opportunity because he found out, a kingpin was locked up and everyone was writing her letters. But his letter got through. She said it was something about his letters. It was about what he did, what he wrote in those letters that made, him stand out.
Exactly. Hey, if you don't mind, Ice, can you give a little background on what you may be talking about? Because a lot of people don't know. They might not have seen the movie. I believe it was what Cocaine Cowboys 2?
Yeah, it was Cocaine Cowboys too. The first one was breaking down as far as the family in Colombia, is how they basically started, how their drug network spread out throughout, throughout the world, mainly United States, Mexico, um, Canada, so forth. The second part, uh, where it talks about Griselda as far as her relationship with a black man while she was locked up. Now, mind you, Colombians were racist. Not well, yeah, they were racist and prejudiced in a sense, because there's a difference between racism and prejudice. We're probably gonna get a little bit into that, but more so, they didn't deal with black people, and from my dealings early on, there's a reason why they didn't deal with you know black men as far as in their drug dealings, because more so with Hispanics, it was more like a family type of thing. It was more so like we can all shine together. But with us, we want to be individual stars. So by being individual star, you initially become a snake. You cross everyone. You would basically knock off your own or whatever like that. So it's a different ball game with that. So that's just with Chris Crosby. What he did that was actually different. He wrote letters to her, that where it stood out, because he was more attentive to how she was doing, how she was feeling, what was going on, and it really stuck out to her.
Yes, indeed. And that's vision right there, man. I remember when I first saw that, and I thought to myself, shit, man, that's something I probably would have done, just thinking, because I understand the vision of it. But it takes a lot of people just go through life and wait for opportunities to clearly present themselves. But that's not how it is. Sometimes you have to create the opportunity, and you might just get 1% of it, and it's up for you to fill in the blanks for the rest of that 99%. You know what I'm saying? So you have to have the vision to do that. He saw an opportunity for one of the biggest kingpins, or queen pins, if you want to call it that, in the game, to be able to capitalize off her being in prison in the Americas and communicate with her, write a letter to her, understanding first of all the female nature, to be able to tap in to the feminine essence of this woman. Keep in mind, this was a woman who had previously killed all of her husbands. She was known as the Black Widow because she didn't divorce. She killed all of her husbands, all of her lovers have been killed, and she moves on to the next one. So this is not a weak woman. This is a woman that was a prostitute probably at the age of 12, 13 years old. She wasn't a woman that didn't understand life. She wasn't a woman that didn't understand the game, the streets. She grew up about that. You know what I'm saying? But yet, he had to be able to tap in and speak her language, but also tap into the femininity in her. See, to be able to tap into the femininity of a woman who is surrounded her whole life is encompassed by masculinity, whether through the careers or just the choices or the persona or the energy. She was a very masculine woman. So it made it even more difficult to tap into that femininity. It's like the yin and yang symbol. You know what I'm saying? You got the yin and yang symbol, but that small dot is the opposite. That's what in the female, that's that masculinity. You know what I'm saying? In the
Hmm.
male, it's the femininity. In the female, it's the logic. In the male, it's the emotion. So he was able to tap in to the logic to understand how she came in, how she survived in her life, what she's been through, but also tap into that femininity to pull out something that's been depressed and pushed so far down, you know? And he was playing the whole way.
Hmm.
He was playing the whole way. I mean, he didn't, but he kept it honest with her though. You know what I'm saying? It ain't like he was in love
Hmm.
with the chick, but he just told her straight up, I see your value. And this goes back to what I said before, the three things that women want:
Mm.
a man who knows who he is, a man who knows who she is, and a man who has a
Hmm.
plan for her, a vision for her. He recognized who she was. He knew what he wanted for both of them. And he was able to write
Hmm.
that in a way that spoke to her soul like no other man. And that was history.
Exactly. And he also knew what was important to her, because even when he did fuck up, like when he was basically, dipping off on the side, um, and she confronted him about that. Which before she confronted him about that, she basically, sent someone to shoot at his Corvette. It was he got shot, got hit a couple times, didn't get killed. His car got hit with 12 bullets. So, he was like, yeah, I did kick it with this woman, but it's like he basically kind of told her what she wanted to hear, but then told her the value, what she values, what's important. You know what I'm saying? Because in a way, you kind of have to still sell the woman the dream, what they want to believe, but then also tell them what it is. So he was definitely playing. Because on one end, he basically told us like, look, okay, I need this because I couldn't be around you all throughout the week, which really wasn't the case, because he really only knocked it down for 3 months with the conjugal visits. Paid about $1,500. But on a flip side, I said, look, this is what I brought to you as far as business wise. What's important to her was the business of what's going on. There hasn't been a time I came up short. Each time, it was $1 million, and so forth. And she was like, okay, she eased up. She was able to work both the salt and the honey in a situation. That's the measuring the scales. The salt is the truth, right? And then the honey is the softer part. It's the fantasy.
That's facts. That's a great point you make up right there. A
Mm-hmm.
very good point.
Mm-hmm.
Top said, I got an echo. Is it still echoing? I turned my volume down. Let me know if you guys still hear echo before we go further in this.
Yeah, yeah. Hopefully, is it me? Man, there is no. There is no way he was hard running in that. Yeah, he was hard running in that, but it was only like three minutes. I mean, it's a grandma, so you could basically, what I'm saying. I'm sure he was dumping in that and everything. You know, you can't lose at that point.
You know what? Even though she wasn't an attractive woman, the
Mm-hmm.
mindset, the Pablo inner,
Mm-hmm.
that's attractive.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's a powerful woman, man. What you
Mm-hmm.
gotta see, here's the thing that I liked about it. So we good? Okay. I just had
Mm-hmm.
to turn the volume down a bit. Here's the thing that a lot of people didn't realize. She had more influence than Pablo at the time, than Pablo
Mm-hmm.
Escobar. And this guy was just a mid-level drug dealer out of LA, talking to kingpins that were selling all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
Now imagine, as dangerous, as influential, as powerful as Pablo Escobar was. Pablo Escobar was in position to run for the president of Colombia. He was a very powerful man. But the black guy, Mr. Crosby,
Mm-hmm.
was in position to have more influence because he controlled the woman that was above Pablo, even though he got to stay in the outskirts and nobody really knew about him. So you got to consider that. As dangerous and as Pablo as influential and powerful as Pablo Escobar was, this woman had just as much power and influence, and she could have easily taken Pablo out as well. But this guy, low level guy from LA, was
Mm-hmm.
able to tap into somebody who was more powerful than Pablo, and just being in the position he had with her, he had more influence.
Exactly. And on top of that, Pablo, just like everyone else, had to give answers to him. And they were upset. And a lot of the people, again, they were prejudiced and racist. So he was like, I gotta give an answer to the nigger or whatever like that. Like, and then word got back to her. She's like, look, you can't, you have no control of what I have in my life or whatever like that. Basically, she's like, I'll touch you. He's here. He's good. So, what I'm saying? They had to take orders from him. What I'm saying? So really, his power play was the ultimate power play. What I'm saying? That's a man that can execute the vision, you know?
Exactly. And when we, as men, I've talked to guys about this before, about when I say younger guys, in their 20s, they should deal with older women. A lot of the time it's for situations like this, not the same exact thing, but the amount of information you learn. You know, I tell guys all the time, 20 years old, you should be dealing at least 10 years up. 30 years old, you know what I'm saying? Just to get the information, just to learn different layers of the woman, but also learn about yourself, because you got to understand a 40-year-old woman can teach a 20-year-old man, a 20-year-old male, more than his peers can about
Facts.
men. Think about that. If you have a woman that's 56 years old, she's been around men that are 56 years old, all type of men from a different generation. She has insight on men. She has insight on the way they operate. She has insight from the female perspective. She has insight on the male perspective. So as a young guy absorbing this type of information, it just makes you even more powerful. And we can see how that manifests with Mr. Crosby and Griselda Blanca's relationship. She was an older woman. She had the connects. She had the access. She was able to teach him things that he didn't have access to, because he was not a Colombian. He didn't have he wasn't tied into the Colombian the drug dealers like that, because he was not part of the family. He didn't understand the culture like that. She laced him, taught him about the game. In fact, with the information that she gave him, it's safe to say what she taught him is the reason he's alive right now. You have so many other drug dealers, including herself, that are dead, but he was able to keep a clean face, not only within his community, but within the Colombian community and globally. He was able to keep a clean face while using her as a shield, because her face was already larger. She was the face of the business. He got to stay behind the scenes under a huge umbrella, under a huge shield, and just absorb and just practice and make his business more efficient. That's a powerful thing. Like I say, a lot of times, what kills Black people when it comes to business, all types of business, is the fact that they want to lead on the fact that they're Black. If you have a business, you don't have to do you see Walmart saying this is white owned? Jewelry store saying this is Jewish owned? No. Do you see some Mexican restaurant saying this is Spanish owned or whatever? No. No. Only Blacks do that. And it's a problem. See, if I owned a business, let's say I owned a financial business, this is how I think. And again, this goes back to vision, something 99.9% of niggas don't have. If I owned a business that was doing taxes or finances or something like that, I would name it something with a Jewish name, because I know a Jewish name is going to be more respected in the business of finance from Jewish people, white people, and Blacks. The moment that I put on my product that this is a Black-owned business, I've just killed 75% of my business. Really 90%. Because that's saying, okay, they got people who are very much into their culture. The Jews, the whites, Hispanics, they're not going to go to you because they have too much pride to go spend their money with a nigga when they can spend it with their own people. And then you got a lot of niggas who are going to look at it and say, well, shit, I ain't really got time to be dealing with no nigga business, man, because niggas operate a certain way.
Yeah.
So you have to be able to have a face of your business that is non-Black is important. You got to understand that. The moment you put Black on something, the value goes down. The moment Blacks move into a neighborhood, the value goes down. Hell, if you buying a motorcycle, if a white man buying a motorcycle and it's the perfect motorcycle, it's everything he wants, he sees that a nigga owns it, he gonna pass it up. Because everything a nigga, let's be real, everything a nigga touches in this society's eyes, the value goes down. So you have to keep that in mind, gentlemen. A lot of you guys are doing businesses. We got a lot of successful brothers in the community, business owners and entrepreneurs. It doesn't behoove you, or let's say it behooves you, to put another face behind the business. That's just how I would operate. I would never, any business I own, I'm gonna put a white man in the front. Period. Because it's like with music. Like when I have my song Anything, I didn't have any curse words on the song. no profanity on the song. Because the moment you use profanity, you limit the amount of access and the amount of sales. Because even if the song has 10 cuss words and there's 30,000 people who don't listen to music with cuss words, you just lost 30,000 sales. You know what I'm saying? So you have to you have to look at it in business. What am I doing that could potentially lower the value of my product or my business? And if we're gonna be very real, having a nigga on the front is bad business. Now going back to Mr. Crosby, having Griselda on the front was great business. It allowed him to move, and he was able to stay the man or the man in his dominion in his kingdom because he was working out of LA. You know what I'm saying? So in his kingdom, where everybody was black, he was the man. But they also knew on a global scale, he was moving a lot of shit, but he had her as the face. So that's one thing a lot of people gotta understand. Jehovah said, "Where are you getting this from, brother? I don't get this from anybody. I just go off the dome, man. This is vision. This is what we talking about. This is vision, man."
Exactly. When it's in you, it's in you, and
That's it.
it's basically seeing things, and you got to understand the inner workings of the world. You know what I'm saying? You have to see how things are set up. Okay, it's like this. Okay, I can work it like this. So really, you as a black man, you got to really set your ego aside. Your ego, your vanity, and your emotions in order to do business. You don't necessarily have to be the front page of everything. Put somebody else in the front. At the end of the day, you basically want the monetary gain. You want the possession of what's going on. You want the control. You don't necessarily have to be out in the front. The problem with niggas is too much Sam Rothstein when you should have stuck to food and beverages. you know, Too much dancing in the front, whatever like that, and you miss out. You know, don't put
Yeah,
your black ass out in the front.
that's facts. That's fact, especially when you were trying to sell a product
Hmm.
globally.
Hmm.
Especially when you got to understand a nigga is a nigga everywhere on the planet. Ain't not one place on the planet a nigga is not a nigga.
Hmm.
Even in Africa, a nigga is a nigga.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you have to understand the reality. As my brother Born says, you got to understand you know what I'm saying? Accept the reality. Accept the reality of where you are. Now that don't mean you treat yourself or you view yourself as the bottom tier. I view myself as a lord. I view himself as a lord.
Hmm.
Again, because we are brothers who have the y'all lenses. We are the brothers who have knowledge.
Hmm.
We are the brothers that have been blessed with insight that 99% of the people don't have.
Hmm.
But at the same time, we know how we view.
Hmm.
And we got to
Exactly.
operate. When you play in the game, you got to operate the
Hmm.
code by the rules and the code in the game, or you get
Exactly.
snuffed.
Exactly. And one of the principles of power is moving in a way that's understated. You know, Strength is always in simplicity. People don't necessarily have to see you. You don't have to sit there and tell you, like, I don't run around to you, hey, I'm God, I'm God, I'm God. Like, no, you'll just see it in my behavior, and it's just low key. Look at the gospel. Look how he basically carried it. You know, people have mixed feelings about things. In one aspect, they seen him as God. In other aspects, they seen him as you know, uh, a problem. You know, why do you
That's
need to be
fact.
seen by people? People have people struggle with liking themselves. You know what I mean? They're never consistent in who they are on a day-to-day basis. They're like tumbleweeds. So why do you need to prove yourself to a motherfucker like that at the end of the day? You're basically here to get your earnings and do what you're supposed to do, mind your business, take care of your family, and that's it. Keep the main thing your main thing. That's what vision is being disciplined in your vision. You know, that's what Chris Crosby was. He was disciplined in his vision. You know, he liked what he liked. Everybody has their thing. Like, he had cars and we had little piece of jewelry. He said he was a clothes horse, but this is what he liked. He liked to be seen. But that's where his downfall was. He liked to be seen. You
Yep.
know.
The downfall for plenty of brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Plenty of brothers. You know, I talk to my brother Born almost every day, and we be talking about, you know, if we were kingpins back in the 30s and 40s, how
Mm-hmm.
big we would have did it because of our vision.
Mm-hmm.
Back in a time where didn't have the technology, all
Mm-hmm.
the cameras and all that computer and social media, the times where you can just go up and kill somebody and nobody say a word. They didn't have the technology to find out who did it. It was just
Yeah.
word of mouth.
Sweet.
If you had Pablo back in those days in the 20s and 30s, man, you could be a heroin kingpin. But if you had vision, shit, you'd be a lord today.
Mm-hmm.
You'd be a lord. A lot of these guys, when you look at the kingpins in Chicago and Philly and New York
Mm-hmm.
and Detroit,
Mm-hmm.
they stayed in the same cities.
Mm-hmm.
Many even stayed in the projects. They just got the whole floor or the whole building to themselves, and they
Mm-hmm.
stayed there. And that's where they died, or that's where they got locked up as well, because they didn't have the vision to understand that this game is a whole lot bigger. A lot of when it comes to the drug game, a lot of times they show you people. They only show you people that didn't make it. They don't show you the people like the Bergeron. You know, they don't show you the companies that are today Fortune 500 companies that were started off of kingpin money from
Mm-hmm.
white drug dealers. Bergeron, one of the biggest companies, construction companies in the world, and that started with dope money,
Mm-hmm.
100%. But you wouldn't know that because they only show blacks the ones that didn't make it. So therefore, the highest you can obtain to see is somebody that didn't make it.
Mm-hmm.
You got
I
to
mean,
keep that in mind. Go ahead, brother.
I was gonna say it's basically called television. We tell you this vision of everyone that got caught instead of the ones that actually did get by. It's really just like it says, a rat race, just like anything else. There's a couple of gentlemen that I know that made, that made their way, and one of them had said something that's very powerful to me, a little while back. You know, he brought up to me again, but it was as actually brought to me years ago, even before then, because he wasn't even saying it as a quote. He was just driving around. I was in his passenger seat, and he was like, "How many niggas you know can make $1 million and keep their mouth shut?"
That's key. That's true right there.
Mm,
That's true.
mm-hmm,
Most can't. They got to
mm-hmm,
show off. That's why when I talk about, when I talk about the vision, the Switzerland and Norway, having things in seclusion on land and being away from people,
mm-hmm,
what I'm saying? A lot of people don't value that. A
mm-hmm,
lot of people don't value a house on 100 acres in Norway. Why? Because nobody sees that.
mm-hmm,
It's nothing that can be shown off. But if you want to live, in a neighborhood where all the others are keeping up with the Jones, you can show that off.
mm-hmm,
You get what I'm saying? A lot of blacks just want to show off because at the end of the day, they're filling their voids. It goes
mm-hmm,
back to what we said before. Material, possessions, this is all filling voids. When you don't know who you are, when you're not validated internally, you are going to fill voids through something else, whether it be sex, drugs, women,
mm-hmm.
money. That's why a rapper like Drake can buy $100 million house on 2 acres. He's filling a void.
Oh,
That's just
oh,
a
oh,
big void he's trying to fill for the lack of his soul, the lack of really loving himself. It's hard to love yourself when you sell your soul.
mm-hmm,
These people don't love themselves.
mm-hmm.
The
Like Floyd
celebrities
Mayweather.
don't love themselves. They do these drugs is to fill voids, and a lot of these drug dealers are in the club throwing money, 20,000 in one night. It happens all the time in Miami.
Mm-hmm,
Just filling voids, lots of cars and this and that, but no vision. See, when you have no vision, materials become the void filler for the lack of vision.
mm-hmm.
But go ahead, bro.
Now I was gonna say, like, and that's the problem is that they lack of vision. Then when you basically hear with these old niggas that are bitter, they talk about when they had it. Okay, you ain't got it now, so that means you was never really like that. You know, what are you doing now? Like everybody has their periods, when they slip or fall, but it's just like you didn't have the vision. Because if anything, you know that you don't make a career out of this. You know, this is something that, you know, this is, you know, this is a startup. You know, you didn't start up, you didn't utilize that money to create a business, you know, or create businesses, or to create a, you know, a trust, you know, looking at things, you know, long term. You know, what are your kids going to have? What are their grandkids going to have? You know, that's a problem with, you know, our people per se, you know, the men or even the women. It's like we think of only ourselves, you know, in the selfish aspect. If we do care about ourselves, we only think about ourselves, right? We don't really think about our children. We don't think about our grandchildren. We don't think about their children, you know? You don't think
Exactly.
long term. You don't make sacrifices. You don't really commit to shit, you know?
Exactly. And especially because a lot of us are born into single mother households.
Hmm.
A lot of black women just don't have the vision that is to care about the legacy and do what's best. You know what I'm saying? Not like the white man. White man would give his life up for the legacy.
Hmm.
We won't sacrifice shit for our legacy, unfortunately, in our community.
Hmm.
They won't even sacrifice eating healthy. When you think about it, you know, when you look at the diet of the average black family in a lower income area,
Hmm.
it's food that kills.
Hmm.
Diabetes, hypertension, this and that. They
Hmm.
don't even care enough to help the kid live longer.
Hmm.
If you know brown sugar is healthier than white sugar, why give white sugar?
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But we
Hmm.
continually do it. It's filling voids, not valuing legacy, not valuing your flesh,
Hmm.
not valuing your body. Over here in Atlanta, see guys with tattoos on their face, all these tattoos on their face. They don't value their skin. They don't have any vision. They're just out here day by day. Common sense would say, well, hell, if I ever want to get a career or make something out of myself, I probably shouldn't have 30 tattoos with a middle finger on my front head, on my face. But when I walk through Atlanta, I see about 100 guys a day, fam, tattoos
Hmm.
all on their face. Because what are they living for? Nothing. They
Yeah.
just, every day is a new adventure. When you focus on the vision, man, that's the most powerful thing you can have. And sometimes you have to understand you can't obtain the vision by yourself. You need assets.
Hmm.
And Griselda Blanco was a hell of an asset.
Hmm.
See, when guys talk about, a lot of guys miss quality women because they don't see the value and because they don't have a vision.
Hmm.
When a guy will say, oh, no, I wouldn't fuck with Oprah because she ugly,
Hmm.
he's a fool.
Hmm.
He doesn't see the value. Why? Because he doesn't have a need to use her access, her
Hmm.
connections,
Hmm.
her marketing platform. He doesn't need anything for that. He doesn't need to use that
Hmm.
because he doesn't have a business. He
Hmm.
doesn't have a vision.
Hmm.
So therefore, it's just okay. She's not attractive. I don't want to fuck with her.
Hmm.
You know, when we talk about the whole Kim K thing,
Hmm.
you know, going back to that,
Yep.
or Kim K, Brittany Bundle, women who have influence.
Hmm.
If all you see is a sexy woman to sleep with, you're not seeing the value of the woman, and you're not seeing the value of yourself. Because a
Exactly.
lot of women are, you're going to have more assets than you'll have trinities.
Hmm.
You know, you might come across one or two trinities in your life, but you can come across 1,000 assets.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It all depends on where you are in life and what your goal is. If you're trying to get into real estate, there's lots of women out there that are successful in real estate. It might be an ugly bitch you might not want to fuck with, but that don't mean if that's not who you fuck with. An asset does not have to be sexual.
Yeah.
That's
Oh, you
why
right.
guys get it fucked up.
Yo, my God, you was right there because I was about to say it's not so much in the beauty of a woman; it's in the duty of the woman. You know what I'm
Hold on, bro. You got to put
saying?
that on the screen somewhere.
Yeah. Let me write that down.
You gotta. I don't know how you put that stuff on the bottom like that, but that gotta go on the
Hmm.
ticker or something.
Exactly. It's not the beauty of a woman, but it's in the duty of boom right there. See, and the reason why I'm saying that because the reason why most people in life never get to where they are, because the reason why they don't see value, I think they see value, but they choose their preference over their value. But the question is, they never ask themselves what they prefer. Is it healthy for them or is it unhealthy? Now, if you look at, for example, I think I explained about Jacob, right? Remember, his preference was Rachel, but the value was Lee. He
Mm.
produced more with Lee than he did with Rachel. He got two measly ass kids. With Rachel, it took him years. He had to basically slave out for 14 years. Versus, his value right then and there. You had it. He didn't have to do all that work. You're doing extras for nothing. It was what the word was basically telling you. You know, you waste so much time chasing after your preference, slaving yourself out, versus where your value is right there.
Mm.
Because guess what? If you take a chick that's right a 4, right? And if you're a certain type of man, that's why I said any woman, they said, oh, there's no such thing as a dime. I said any woman that deals with me automatically goes up 10 points. So she's a 4, she's a 14. So she's a 5, she's a 15. If she's a 7, she's a 17. She automatically goes up points. So it's not so much that these women are ugly, right? What it is they're poor. Break it down. Okay, boom. What if she gets a nutritionist? That helps right there. She gets a chemical peel. She gets a trainer. She loses that weight. She gets a good hairstyle that brings up the features in her hair. Boom, she goes up right there. You know what I'm saying? Then you're building her, then she's receptive. She's on fire. So you want a cute bitch. You don't want this gorgeous bitch, because I had a gorgeous bitch before. There's nothing else to her. She was just a Barbie doll collecting dust. You know?
Damn.
That's it. That's all I really had. She was good to look at. There was nothing else to her. Versus you get that cute bitch that started out, she was driving a Nissan and hustled her way to a BMW selling purses. Damn. I wanted that one. I wanted that on the team.
That's crazy right there.
Mm-hmm.
And most won't see the value of that. You know
Mm-hmm.
what that reminds me of?
Mm-hmm.
Well, to go back on your point,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's very important. Like I said, you don't wife dimes. That's crazy. You know what I'm saying? You want a woman who sees your value above anything else. If a,
Mm-hmm.
if a woman doesn't see your value, man, you can never be loved properly.
Exactly.
Why? Because love is what? Action,
Mm-hmm.
commitment to action.
Mm-hmm.
And if she doesn't see the value in your vision, why would she be committed to that? She's going to chase her own vision.
Exactly.
You know what
Exactly.
reminds me of what you were saying? The movie Coming to America, which I probably got to do a drop on that too.
Oh yeah.
He had a woman, beautiful woman,
Mm-hmm.
made for him, groomed for him, willing to
Mm-hmm.
do everything because she recognized the value. Whatever he wanted, she did. What
Mm-hmm.
he thought, she did. It was straight up. She saw the Lord in him.
Mm-hmm.
Yet he wanted to go find a peasant and get
Mm.
the peasant to see the Lord in him. That movie
Wasted
is
all.
got hella red pills, man.
Hell yeah. Wasted all that money. Wasted all that time
Exactly.
to get something, Americanized, poison. We basically,
Yeah,
I'm saying, versus you get something that basically you say you jump on one foot and bark like a dog, she's gonna do that shit. It's like, oh yeah, you don't want to go him like that. Shit, shit. A woman, man, see that's what a lot of these women don't understand about the art of submission. When you're doing this stuff like that, you open up doors, because that man will basically do anything for you, because you're doing, hey, look, you're doing right by me, and look, blessings are upon you. That means you really want to be. It's like God. If you serve God with all your heart, all your mind, all your soul, all your body, then He's going to bless your life. Aren't you created in His image? Aren't you the same way? You get a lot of you gentlemen have had a woman that really was just, man. She just went above and beyond, and you wanted to look out for the cookout. Versus you had that little rotten ass bitch, right? Had a little attitude and stuff like that. You didn't give her nothing.
yep.
You're lucky she even got a pull the joint.
It reminds me of that verse, and
Mm,
I've been saying it a whole lot. Deny yourself and follow the Lord.
mm,
That that the actual whole verse is deny yourself, pick up the cross, and follow the Lord.
Mm.
And that's gold right there. First of
Yes.
all, just to deny yourself. That
Damn, that's hard right there.
that that verse right there is so deep. I mean, for all of us, not just men and women in relationships, but for all of us.
Mm.
If we're saying it to ourselves, deny yourself and follow the vision.
Mm.
You have to deny what you want. You might want to go out and eat a nice meal,
Mm-hmm.
go out to the restaurant, go out on a date and this and that, but you need that extra money to apply to the vision.
Exactly.
You think Steve Jobs or Jeff Bezos was I guarantee they were denying themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Bill
They
Gates
definitely have
dropped out of college.
to. Mm-hmm.
That's denying yourself
Mm-hmm.
to follow the vision.
Yep. What about that weirdo dude that owns Tesla?
Elon
Yeah. Cool.
Elon
Cool.
Musk.
Yeah, he basically spent was it 3 years at a YMCA. You rented out a room for his office space and his living space for him and his brother to build a business. 3 years. He denied himself. I can basically go out and do all this stuff, party like a rock star, but he sacrificed that. See, the vision you have to sacrifice for it. You know, he sacrificed himself for that vision. So now he's living. He can have whatever he wanted. He had what's it, Johnny Depp's ex-wife and stuff like that. See,
Yep.
this is what Chris Crosby did. He basically saw the vision, the bigger play, and was willing to sacrifice himself because look, one wrong move, he was going to get his head popped.
Right. That's facts. He
Mm-hmm.
definitely had to deny himself. And let's be real. She was the vision for a while.
Yep.
She was the vision. He had to deny himself for her vision
Mm-hmm.
because her vision was going to bring his vision.
Exactly.
And the second part of this, it says, deny yourself and pick up the cross. When you think about the cross, it's a symbol of, Jesus dying on the cross. So when he's saying pick up the cross, he's saying you have to deny yourself and understand that you might not come alive out of this situation.
Mm-hmm.
You're probably going to die chasing this vision. Like 50 Cent say, get rich or die trying.
Yep.
Pick up the cross.
Mm-hmm.
When you come deny yourself and you come to me, you should have your mindset set that you can look out, that you possibly might lose your life
Mm-hmm.
following this vision.
Exactly.
But it's that pivotal that you do it. Because when this vision is complete, there's going to be nothing greater. If you don't have the vision, man, it's hard to be happy. That's one thing you got to get to the point that without your vision, like your vision fuels you. Without you can have the best life going that everybody else wants, but you don't have the vision. And you're going to be miserable. None of that other shit matters because you don't have the vision. You're focused on that.
Mm-hmm.
Like my brother Bourne says, Kendall Gerald says, without the vision, there is no happiness.
Exactly.
Vision is hope.
Mm-hmm.
It's like an oasis,
Mm-hmm.
oasis in the desert. It keeps you going. Even when your body is about to shut down, you're about to dehydrate, your body is overheating, your brain is cooking, and you feel like you're 2 minutes away from dying, your mind will trick you into seeing an oasis. Think about how powerful that is.
Mm-hmm.
Your mind creates an oasis to keep you going further. Your brain has to create a vision to keep you going if you're stuck in the desert. Think about how powerful that is.
Mm-hmm.
Your brain is more focused on surviving than you.
Exactly.
The vision for the brain is to survive.
Mm-hmm.
Go
But
ahead, bro.
I was gonna say, but the vision is more so for you to prosper. It's about your prosperity and your posterity. Now, if you look at the vision, it's just like what you said with hope. It's the it's the evidence that's not seen in the physical, right? But you see it in the metaphysical. So you have to basically bring it into fruition. Everything is 6 degrees separation. If you look at it like this, you're going to die anyway. So why not live pursuing the vision that is basically in your mind, that's given to you? You're you're going to go through sleepless nights. You know what I'm saying? You're going to go through times where you're going to run out of money. You know, it's not like the pathway to success is not the straight line that everybody likes to believe. You know, it's like what I used to think it was. You know, it's basically a lot of dips, valleys, circles, all types of shit. Like sometimes you're on an island, like, man, what the fuck? Like, wait a minute, I had this written down. You know, I had this mapped out. You know, I had all the checks and balances, but how did I end up here? You know, it's there purposely because those that can endure the most pain eventually gain.
Mm.
You have to endure. It's about endurance. It's not given to the race. Is not given to the strong. It's not given to the swift. It's given to those that can endure. You know, you take the blow, but you still keep going.
That's facts.
Mm-hmm.
That's facts. And exactly what the scripture says as well.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly what the scripture says. Again, the book is so, the Torah is so red pill, man.
Mm-hmm.
Because everything we're talking about, you can read it in there.
Exactly. Anything you want to know. If you want to know about relationships, look at the Songs of Solomon. You want to know the principles of business? Look at Proverbs. You want to look at you know, as far as ritual practices, you look at the book of Deuteronomy. You want to look at praise and worship, you go to Psalms. If you want to know about how to basically deal with friends, look at the gospel. It's all there. You want to basically understand the the dynamics between a man and woman relationship, look at the garden.
That's
if,
fact.
mhm. If you want to know what's basically to come, look at Revelations. If you basically studied Revelations and you study geopolitics, you can basically trace exactly what's going to basically happen.
And that's what allows you to have those outside the matrix lenses.
Yep.
Because we pretty much, when you think about it, a lot of gentlemen who think like us are pretty much modern philosophers. When I
Mm-hmm.
look back at all the things that I said were going to happen over the last 5 years in America, all of it's happening. If I was on a major, had I been on CNN talking the way I talked 5 years ago, people would be calling me a prophet today
Mm-hmm.
because so many of the things that was mentioned are coming to fruition. Talking about the mark of the beast, the cryptocurrency,
Mm-hmm.
Venezuela remix.
Mm-hmm.
This is all y'all lenses. It's understanding, viewing the world with scriptural lenses
Mm-hmm.
rather than viewing the scriptures with worldly lenses.
Mm-hmm.
Without being, if you're inside the matrix, you know, a lot of guys want to talk about the alpha and this and that. You inside the matrix, there is no alpha.
Mm-hmm.
There are no alphas inside the matrix.
Exactly.
Alpha is a fleshly construct.
Mm-hmm.
When you have y'all lenses, that is the most important thing you can have.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody,
That's
go ahead,
okay.
brother.
I was going to say, like, see, thinking outside of the matrix is having the mind like God
Yeah.
versus having, you never want to have the mind of God. I had to make that correction. I think I made it in before, but it's like having the mind like God, the words that you see outside of that. So at least in the spiritual realm and in the mental plane, you have the mind outside of what's going on. You see the bigger picture. When you have the vision and the mind like God, you're going to make those decisions, those financial decisions that's going to put you in position to be totally outside of the matrix.
Right. Right. Every decision is going to work upon that. Like I said, there's a lot of, you know, it's not about being a good guy and this and that. There's going to be a
Mm-hmm.
lot of so-called good guys that get their whole family chipped up, that have their whole family in line to get a vaccine. A lot
Mm-hmm.
of good-hearted people are in unemployment lines right now,
Mm-hmm.
homeless,
Mm-hmm.
because they didn't see outside the matrix to see what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people, when this country collapses, they're going to kill themselves or they're going to die because they don't see what's going on. A lot, you know, and they want to continue to be blinded, buying Nikes and television and all this foolishness. Like I say all the time, and niggas think I be joking, but the scripture confirms it. I said niggas got to die. It is guaranteed niggas will die. Scripture say 2/3 of Hebrew brothers are going to die. Why? because they're inside the matrix. You have no chance of spiritual life when you're inside the matrix. There's a question up there, brother. You wanted to answer that?
It says, "Ayo, fellas, do you feel if a person isn't able to see spiritually what's happening, they can't fully be red pill?" Absolutely, because I believe, as far as being red pill, from a deeper perspective, it's more so an internal thing, because with the Asians believe, it's a certain internal thing from the nervous system, because there's the red pill, blue pill. That's where I believe that the movie derived from. It's from the nervous system. I believe it. I don't want to basically put words in to basically say exactly what it is, because I don't want to basically miss um misquote exactly what it is, but it's more so an internal thing. It goes back to the vision. It's just like with the movie The Matrix, is about the vision. What do you really see? You seeing beyond what your two eyes see. You basically have to be spiritual. Everything in life is spiritual. Everything that you do, is spiritual, and it has a spiritual consequence as well as a physical. Because what you do is, Man Cave said a long time ago, this is probably the most prolific thing that I've ever heard on any platform and basically anywhere in my life, anywhere in my existence. He said, as in the flesh, what you do in the flesh, so is in your spirit.
Mm, that's facts.
Mm-hmm. Because
That's facts right there. It's
exactly, because
young Hunt Flyers. He says, "Do
yeah.
you feel if a person isn't able to see spiritually what's happening, they can't fully be red pill?" I agree 200%, because this is a spiritual thing that's going on. When you look at the leaders who are crippling the system, pushing vaccines, so-called elites and Illuminati, whatever term you want to use, it's all spiritual to them. They're taking words from dark energy. They're taking words from the spirit realm.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, there are many of them possessed by entities from the spirit realm.
Mm-hmm.
So when you have to look at it that way, these people are fighting a spiritual world, and they're just using the fleshly tools to accomplish it. And we over here trying to use the same fleshly tools without recognizing it's a spiritual war. You're never going to win. Because if all you're focused on is your five senses, what you can see, hear, touch, feel, and taste, what about the other things? What your gut tells you, what your soul tells you, what your spirit tells you, what your intuition tells you.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times in the red pill community, guys are just so scientific and fleshly with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's so black and white. Without spirituality, you can only do black and white thinking. It doesn't allow for different layers and levels. So to answer the question, no, I don't think a person can be red pill if they don't see what's going on spiritually in this world. I think it's impossible. But fortunately,
Exactly.
there's a lot of information out there.
Exactly. And you hit the key word is more so they see it from their fleshly understanding, from their five senses and stuff like that. And it's more so they're looking at things, they look at utilize the red pill as far as understanding female nature and whatever like that. Females are who they are, but what about your nature? What about the nature that's around you other than females? you know if you're basically, your life consist of females, or female approval, or female acceptance, or female access, and you're basing your manhood based on that, then you are not red pill. You know, when I believe when you're really red pill, when you're really spiritual, when you're really sound within yourself, you know, females are not in your top five of priorities. You know, Me and the brother Ray J basically said that they're really, they're auxiliary will. They're just basically, they're the assistants to the plan. They're the assistants to the vision. That's it. You know, they, I would say, supplement the plan. They don't fulfill the plan. Your actions fulfill the vision, not the woman. The woman's just there just to assist along the way. She's not going to give you everything that you need. You're not going to get everything that you want. You're going to get some of the stuff. You know, you got to stop placing high expectations on them. You know, becoming a man is based on that. Just not placing any high expectations on it. Really, any expectations on at all. You're not really supposed to trust them. You're supposed to instruct them. You're supposed to guide them into what your vision is. You know, when they say that, what do you bring to the table? I am the table. This is what you present to the table. You don't bring your funky attitude or your nappy head ass kids.
When you got something going, yeah, he said you got to watch the Griselda. I got to watch it again too.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely have to watch that. I think when you reach a certain level, well, a lot of guys in the red pill, Mgtow community, dating community, all that, they just teach the bad stuff, but they don't see the value of the woman.
Mm-hmm.
It takes okay. You should learn the good about female nature, the bad about female nature, the good about male nature, the bad about male nature, and be able to put both of these things together to figure out what works for you. If you don't have a vision, any woman you come across is going to be a raggedy woman.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have a purpose for her. You know what I'm saying? You can't have the perfect woman. You can't have. There is no good woman when you don't have a vision,
Mm-hmm.
because she's good compared to what your vision desires and needs.
Mm-hmm.
You can have a great woman in every matter, but if it doesn't fit your vision, she's not a good woman for you. But if
Mm-hmm.
you don't have a vision, you're never going to find a good woman. And a lot of guys, because I believe you have to build them. You have to build them up. Like, one of the best game a man can have is being outside the matrix and bringing a woman outside the matrix, giving her knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because when a woman is outside the matrix and you brought her there, it's hard for her to really look at inside the matrix guys the same.
Mm-hmm.
If she believes in, demonic possessions, Illuminati, the satanic industry, and then you have a guy who doesn't believe in any of that, he's just like, hey, we should go vote. She's gonna look at him like, this nigga's out of his damn mind. No matter how much money he got, how good he looks, how good his dick is, it's limited, because the mind is on two different wavelengths. One is on the flesh, and one is on the spirituality. That's why being red pill, being outside the matrix and putting that knowledge inside the woman, that's the best game you have, because the more knowledge you instill, the less she can bond with other guys who don't possess the knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
But because you guys are not, a lot of guys, not you guys specifically, but a lot of guys in the community don't have any knowledge, don't have any vision. They just going along, going with the plan, working. The AMS warriors. Go hit the gym. Yeah, I'm gonna get big. I'm gonna get muscles. I'm gonna get a six-figure job, and you're gonna get taken to the cleaner. So you're never gonna be able to get a soul,
Mm-hmm.
because you don't have any substance. You're not teaching anything.
Exactly. The key thing, I think, when I think in one of my drops, it says, what I said, new level, new devils, where Shay basically said, you know um she was basically explaining what I was into. She's like, I just wanted to be a part of it, but now you got me fully involved. Now she's going after basically getting her real estate license. Now
Mm,
she's looking at different investments and stuff like that, because she's involved. Because why? Because I constantly communicate the vision to her. I went over the discussion. It wasn't about me putting, this in this hole or that in that hole. It was about the plan for the future. Because if I want you to be a part of my future, I'm really having a conversation with you, screening you out to see if you're fit for the future. See if you're fit for my future. And if you're fit for my future, you're gonna move accordingly.
right.
It's not about me doing anything to her physically. It's not about, you know, beauty or whatever the case may be. It's about you having a placement in my life. If you want to be in my life, you know, you want to basically carry out the vision. You want to be dedicated. Like Trinity, as you said before, she was dedicated to the vision. You got to make the vision plain and make it clear, for the woman to basically be inspired by it, right? So she can run with it with you.
Exactly.
You know.
Exactly. When they get on board with the vision, it's no going back. And
Mm-hmm.
like I said, a woman has to be more loyal to your vision than she is to you.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of guys don't get that.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Because once they fall off the vision, you want the woman to keep you going. She's not gonna let you fall off.
Mm-hmm.
But if she ain't
Exactly.
loyal to the vision, she just loyal to you. She
Mm-hmm.
really isn't loyal to you.
Exactly. It's big facts. And she'll constantly remind you, okay, you got to tighten up on this, you got to tighten up on that. She'll bring it to your remembrance. Exactly what he's saying is facts. It's not only her. It's Tony. It's a couple of women in my life that are loyal to the vision. You know, and it's beyond. Because if you don't have a vision, you know, in the situation or relationship, then there's no submission. You know, there's no commission to it, right? There's no
Unpack
commitment
that.
to it, huh?
Unpack that. That went over my head a bit.
All right. See, if you don't have the vision, like if you're not in the communication with the woman, you're telling her about the plan for the future, whatever like that, then why should she submit to you? Because you think you're handsome, because you have muscles, you know, because you think you have a big, what I'm saying, a package or whatever like that. She should be, committed to you and just serving you. No, you communicate the future. You make it clear to her. So whereas though, because she sees it and then she feels safe. And what do all women want at the end of the day? They want to be rescued. They want to be safe. They want comfort and convenience. And the comfort and convenience comes from a man that basically knows who he is, knows where he's going, knows the woman he's dealing with, and can lead.
That's facts.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna go over a lot of people's heads, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
But it's very important. Let me see that comment. She was made to prophecy, repeat to you what you told her at the start.
Ooh, damn. Damn, JP.
Let's go. And it sounds like what you say, that you always say it, Ice, that
Mm-hmm.
when you fall in love with the woman, you fall in love with the reflection of you in her.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how do you phrase that?
Oh, I don't love the woman naturally. I love myself in the woman. So the more of myself that I see in the woman, the more of my vision that I see in the woman, the more of my plans that I see in the woman, the more of my ways that I see in the woman is I love her because I love myself through her. It's just like how God loves you based on how much he sees himself in you,
Mm.
you know?
Yeah, it's a drop. That's a drop right there.
Yeah. So many drops in the drop.
Jehovah said, especially if you're a pimp.
Oh yeah, that's how
When you look at the pimp game, I did a video talk about pimp, alpha, and the Jack Dawson. There's something you can take from all of them.
mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But again, you have to see the value in all of them. But they all have a vision, right? But the difference between them, well, let me take that back. The alpha doesn't necessarily have a vision.
Mm,
Again, that's a fleshy construct. The
mm-hmm.
pimp has a vision for the woman. He has planned for her. That's what he's telling her. He's teaching her, look, this is the lifestyle we are looking to obtain.
Mm,
If you work hard for me in 2 years, we can all be retired in Switzerland, living on
mm-hmm.
the beach. Tell that
Mm-hmm.
to all his hoes. And they go
Mm-hmm.
work and get the money because they focus on the vision. See, the street worker, the prostitute, she doesn't leave a man for more money. She doesn't leave a pimp because another pimp has more money. She doesn't leave one pimp because the other pimp has better dick. She
Mm-hmm.
leaves one pimp when she sees he is not as loyal to his vision as she is.
Damn, that was cold.
And that's
Facts.
why I often say I said our prostitutes. I did a drop talking about our prostitutes, the red pillars of the female community, because a lot of women will leave based on who makes me feel better, who makes more money, who brings more stability. But the whore, the hoe, the prostitute, she only leaves one man for another man for knowledge and commitment to the vision.
Mm-hmm.
So you sort of gotta respect that
Mm-hmm.
because that's seeing value. So it is, you can learn a lot from the pimp whore relationship.
Mm-hmm.
But the difference between a pimp and a Jack Dawson is that the Jack Dawson is going to use his vision, right?
Mm-hmm.
Without changing a woman. He lets the woman just be who she is naturally.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't change this, doesn't change that. Whereas the pimp is more going to have to build her up and change this woman to be around this and that. They both get great things out of the woman, right? And Jack Dawson gets great things out of the woman too,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because he doesn't have an agenda for her. The pimp has an agenda for the woman. The Jack Dawson doesn't necessarily have an agenda. His agenda is for his vision.
Mm-hmm.
And whether she's an asset to that or not, hey, you either buy it or you're not. Where the pimp has an agenda for the woman. Whenever you have an agenda, you have intention. And keep this, I might have to type this.
Mm-hmm.
With
Yes.
intention comes tension.
Mm.
That's why I say I prefer the Jack Dawson because there's no intention. And let me put that in the chat because that'll
Oh
go
yeah.
over most people's
Eh,
head.
absolutely. Because I was about to add this to it because with the pimp, the woman doesn't necessarily love the pimp. She hates the pimp because he somehow crippled her towards she's dependent upon him, and she hates him for that. To whereas though with Jack Dawson, he's kind of like walking the dog without the leash. So his
Oh,
conversation caused her to change. He's not trying to change her. He converts his vision to her. And see, the thing about the vision, you know what I'm saying? When a woman taps into it, you pill her, right? She transforms into the vision as part of it. See, a woman wants to live vicariously through a man. So why not have a woman live vicariously through your message? Why not have a woman live vicariously through your conversation? She wants to basically be a part of it. This is how she becomes a part of it. She's going to be chasing after the conversation. I want to be a part of this. I see it. I see myself, on the beach here. You know, I see myself, driving this. I see myself, closing the deals for you when you want to leave the office and go make a phone call. I see myself doing this. See, women need to have an image for success, and you got to basically create the image in front of them for them to pursue. Women want to chase after something, not chase after you. Let them chase after your vision. Let them chase
mm,
after your conversation.
that's gold right there. That's gold.
Mm,
Manager skills is all he got out of that. Well, I'll say a whole lot more than that. It's a powerful thing, man. Just the mind, a pimp can win in every area of his life. He really can. And the Jack Dawson can too. One thing I liked about it is that the Jack Dawson is sort of like water, he flows, where the pimp doesn't necessarily flow. He's going to be in character much longer than the Jack Dawson would be. The Jack Dawson is not necessarily known for being in character. The pimp is going to have to be in character all the time. That's a heavy burden, especially if you faking it. I mean, if it's you, then it's straight. But if you faking it, that's a heavy burden to be in character all the time. Say, with intention comes tension. As I was saying with the pimp versus the Jack Dawson. When the pimp has intention for the woman to fulfill his agenda, he puts a lot of tension on her. She has to do this, she has to do that. He be on her ass. He still gets good stuff out of her, but as I said, she resents that in a bit. She still may go hard for the vision, but she's going to resent it a bit. She's not going to be able to blossom as much because here's the difference. If a pimp has his top hole, it's like, you know what? I want to go. I want to go to move. I want to go move to another state and go to college for this and that. I want to go to college and be a baker or open a bakery. Most pimps gonna be like, well, shit, I can't rock with that. I need you to get my money right now. Whereas Jack Dawson will say, look here, let me go ahead and help her invest in it. Let me pay for her to get into those classes. And if she blossoms in that, she can bring the money back. She'll bring the money back in that. She'll pimp that too. You know what I'm saying? So it comes down to the freedom, like I said, the dog without the leash.
Mm-hmm.
You allow her to explore more as a Jack Dawson. You allow her to grow in ways she probably, the whore might not be able to grow. You know what I'm saying?
See, and another way to approach it, to simplify, you look at, like, for example, your high school um, teacher, what tells you as far as, you got to have this assignment. I had a teacher that was on my ass about everything. I hated her. You know, I got it done, but it was okay. Versus my college professor that says, okay, this is the assignment. If you don't do this, you're going to flunk out of school. You know, that's it. This is how you embrace approach, a woman when you're a vision, okay, this is what it is. You can seal your intentions. As it says in 48 Laws of Power, you can seal your intentions. This is what it is. So, you kind of have that, that nonchalant, way about it. It's like, okay, if you don't do it, then, what happens. I never speak to you again, you know?
Right. Right. And that could be a lot more savage. Looking at that comment, you want to go ahead and tackle that?
It says, so y'all saying we need to be a balance of Sweet Jones, Gorilla Pimp, and Jack Dawson at the same time. That's deadly game. Yeah, that's definitely one way of looking at it. You know, I would say it's about being vision first, and being, as we would like to say, is being cold. What I mean being cold is communicating the truth, without the emotional attachment to it. Okay,
Drop.
you see your feelings. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with having feelings. Nothing wrong with having emotions, but your feelings and emotions are only for you. Only for you to color how you want to say things, but more so when you explain your vision, right? When you communicate it, you separate your emotions from it. I mean, you separate your emotions of expectations. You want to have some. You probably had a woman, around your cipher that you wanted to keep, but you kind of have to be like Noah when he was building the ark. You don't give a fuck who's on the boat, who comes on the boat, who doesn't. I'm building the boat. You want to get on it and be safe, or you want to drown. It's up to you. Because guess what? If you don't want to come along with this vision, you're going to drown in the sea of your own stupidity.
That's a drop right there. That's a drop. And then
Mm-hmm.
when the vision is achieved, it's a painful thing that they're not able to get on it.
Oh yeah.
Especially like most guys will just, like I said, vision. Like a lot of women, they've been with guys. They don't try to hook up their credit. They don't track. They don't take them on. They've never been on the trip. They don't have any mindset to help them travel and this and that. Just add different experiences like that. And that's what happens when you settle for a man with no vision.
Mm-hmm.
You just end up being unfulfilled.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Young high flyer, what are your go-to methods for reining the mask? Or does it happen naturally? It's natural if it's natural, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's natural. First, you have to understand psychology. You have to have awareness. Have you ever seen a guy who's in a club and the woman is annoyed and he doesn't realize that? Like everybody else can see what he can't see because he's oblivious. He doesn't read the signs. You know what I'm saying? Like you have, if you are one of those type of guys where you can't pick up the subtleties, you don't understand psychology, you can't trust your intuition, your flesh, your spirit, how you can't remove the man. Because a lot of that is knowing when to ask the right question. So you can't ask her some off the base question out of nowhere when it ain't the right time, when she's not emotionally invested. You have to know the right time to do these things.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? If you don't have an awareness or discernment, it's going to be impossible to take a mask off because you're just going to ignore her and she's going to bounce because you're really just being too methodical rather than just being naturally flowing with it.
Mm-hmm. And the other thing, if you go back as far as writing when Chris Crosby was writing the notes to the woman, he was more so looking outside of himself when he was writing the notes. Because when you're looking just inside of yourself and you're more so in that reactionary, space, you're never going to really be able to tap into the woman, to tap in beyond, you know, when you look outside of yourself, when you're basically, what I'm saying, as far as your vision, and you see someone that fits into it, you're able to communicate. You know what I'm saying? You're able to communicate. You're able to find out what that person needs, right? You're able to find out what that woman needs, what she's looking for before she even knows what she's looking for, or she can't even communicate it. But then when you can communicate it to her, oh, she's on.
Facts. When you look at Crosby, who would you say he operated like? The alpha, the pimp, or the Jack Dawson?
Jack Dawson all the way.
Jack Dawson all the way, man. He had the pimp. The pimp is going to put himself. See, here's another difference. The pimp is always going to put himself above the woman, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Mm-hmm.
He can feel that. The Jack Dawson may feel that as well, but he understands that might not be the way to get the mask off. The pimp can't pull a Oprah.
Mm-hmm.
The pimp is not going to pull a mask off of Oprah because Oprah is an independent woman who knows her value as a billionaire. So
Mm-hmm.
the biggest pimp in the world come up to her, she gonna laugh at his ass
Mm-hmm.
because she's a woman of value. She knows who she is.
Mm-hmm.
What are your vision? What is the pimp going to offer her in a vision?
Mm-hmm.
Now, Jack Dawson to get her. In fact, when you look at presidential candidates, a lot of the first ladies and all that, and a lot of these powerful women, it's the Jack Dawsons they have. Rihanna's not married,
Mm-hmm.
but it's a Jack Dawson that's sleeping with her, not a pimp.
Mm-hmm.
What is the pimp going to offer her when she has already fulfilled her vision?
Exactly. You look at was I don't want to get too far into we're gonna get to the extreme, you know what I'm saying, as far as we all know what it is, but just play with the surface of it. We look at, Barack and Michelle, right?
Mm-hmm.
He knew what type of woman she was and where, you know what I'm saying, she can help assist him into the vision as far as becoming the president, right? He walked her without a leash. That's what Jack Dawson did. You walk a woman without the leash. It's not, this whole boot on the chick's neck. Yeah, guys that talk about that stuff. These are women that nobody wants, right? These are women that that nobody's really checking for. Yeah, you can do all that shit, but who else wants these women?
That's
When
a
you're
drop.
when you're dealing with a woman that actually has something to lose and that can actually help you to gain, you're gonna have to move a little bit differently with that. You know what I'm saying? You can basically be in control without looking like you're in control.
You know what you just got me thinking about?
Mm-hmm.
That's how 99% of simps that are married operate. Their women are letting them think they in control.
Mm. Yeah.
That's pretty messed up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got it, Big Daddy. Yeah, working them. Yeah, I'm the man. I'm paying all the bills. Yeah, I'm doing this. Yeah. Yeah, she working
Exactly.
them.
Because you
And
don't have a vision.
go back. And what the vision is, let's bring this, right? Walking the leash. How does that woman work it, right? Because she had the vision. She worked it on him. Because, okay, yeah, I'll let him be the head, but I'm the neck. That means I move the swivel.
Mm. That's gonna go over people's heads right there. Yeah, you got to put that in the comment. That's a drop right there.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna go over heads.
Mm-hmm. Hold on,
Damn.
let me put that in.
As soon as you said the neck, I said, okay, I see where this is going. That's a drop right there. The man is the head, but the woman is the neck. So wherever she turns, wherever she focuses her vision on, that man is going to go ahead and achieve it. That's very powerful. You see that, Ice?
Man, I'm still here. I had to put
Okay.
that in.
Yeah,
Okay.
I gotta take a picture of that one.
Yeah.
Let me pull up my YouTube.
And that's what as you gotta pay attention to that. You know what I'm saying? And guys, that's another thing. When they're interacting with females, they glaze over what they're saying. They glaze over what they're doing. Like, no, 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 no. You gotta understand. What does it say in the beginning? It said her desires to have rule over you. You know what I'm saying? She's every day. She doesn't even care about having control of her own life, having control of her own finances, having control over what she says out of her face or what she does with her body or just anything else in life. But as long as she can control you, she's winning. She doesn't give a fuck about anything else. That's one thing she knows how to do is be messy. Get in your head and mess that up. Get in your life and fuck that up. That's her goal. I want to control you. You know.
If you are not a man on your purpose,
Mhm.
when you have a vision, she doesn't have time for that.
Mhm. Yes.
That's a difference. That's why, a lot of times when you have families that live in the farms on acreage,
Mhm.
on land, their
Mhm.
marriages do better because most of their time is spent on the land, tending to the land, tending to the
Mhm.
farm.
Mhm.
They don't just go to work and then come back and all their time is spent making that household and that land come to fruition. So when
Mhm.
everything you're doing is inside the house, you're not out in public shopping, meeting all these different people and hanging out this and that. Everything you're doing is an investment, and
Mhm.
investment investment into the man's vision is the ultimate sign of the love a woman has for you.
Mhm.
Does she invest into you what you're doing?
Mhm.
You can have guys in relationships with a woman for 10 years and she's never paid a bill, never paid a restaurant bill.
Mhm.
She's just going with the flow with the relationship, not really having to sacrifice. That's why a lot of women will prefer to have a guy that they love, that loves them more than they love him,
Mhm.
because they don't have that emotional investment as much. It
Mhm.
don't hurt as much.
Mhm.
But if they love the guy a whole lot, they're emotionally invested, then the potential for being hurt is there.
Oh yeah. Because then
And a lot of
when
guys are with women in a situation like that. There's no potential of them being hurt because they're really not invested because you don't have anything going on to
Mhm.
make you worth investing.
Mhm. And then that's why I can get up and leave, and that guy's all broken up, broken in spirit, broken in mind, and everything else, and she's all on to the next one. See, the thing is, if she's dealing with you, you're not dealing with her. That's the whole thing. You deal with the day-to-day life responsibilities. You deal with yourself, right? In the process of that woman deals with you. You don't deal with her. It was a
Dang.
gentleman that asked me a long time ago, well, how do you deal with women? It's like the last woman I dealt with was my mother, and that's when I basically wasn't able to, to change my diaper. I wasn't able to feed myself. That was the last time I dealt with a woman.
Damn. That's a drop.
Hmm. What the fuck am I here to do that for? What am I negotiating with you for? You're a subordinate.
That's a drop. If you guys, we about to have to wrap this one up because Top Chakra and
Oh yeah.
Other Ray about to come on in a few minutes.
Oh yeah.
You guys make sure you check that out, man. If y'all got something else to ask, man, y'all go ahead and get it in. But
Hmm.
when we finish this up, check out. I think it's on Other Ray J's channel, right?
Yes, yes, indeed. The other Ray J, the was it the path? It basically breaking down the mathematics of life. The past. This is going to actually overlap into this. This is like if you notice, anything that the brother Professor Mgtow, the other Ray J, Top Chakra, Rich Authority, Man Cave Vlogging Channel, and me, say, it overlaps on each other's messages, even if we're not saying, certain things specifically. We're not, maybe, Professor Mgtow's not talking about, he's using the word self-actualization, but what he's communicating is actually self-actualization. I might not be talking about, stepping outside the matrix or whatever like that, verbally, but I'm talking about it. I'm not saying it. It's just, vice versa. You get the idea. Everything is, the messages complement each other, and it helps you to really grow.
Yes, indeed.
Millie, my Haitian sister, what's going on?
What's up, Millie? She said, funny professors say that. I can't be with a man who loves me more. I'll end up walking him like a dog. My type love must be mutual. That's honesty. And because
He keeps it too real. I fucks with you.
that's real.
Yeah.
And that's why the woman get turned off.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I think that's why a lot of divorce rates are so high. It just pretty much becomes there's nothing attractive about that.
Mm-hmm.
A guy who's all, lovey-dovey, not focused on anything else, no plans, no vision,
Mm-hmm.
no conversation, just entertain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was talking about that my homie born today. I think it was the rapper Saweetie and her dude is Quavo, and Quavo was sick, right? On the story, he's laying on her lap. Like, bro,
Oh, Jesus.
wow. Laying on your lap? That's that's sad, man. That's some childish stuff.
Yeah.
Like
That's gonna be another drop right there, because we're talking about the spiritual consequences of things as far as you positioning yourself, like doing shit like that, or you sitting passenger seat in the vehicle, the car, like you're basically putting curses on yourself. You
wow.
basically allowing her to sit on your lap. That's why when I tell you about the strip club or anything like that, you allowing the woman to sit on your lap, that means she's basically over top of you, talking down to you. There's spiritual consequences of that. There's a lot of stuff that guys just be doing, that they be putting out spells, don't even realize it. Like, yeah, well, I be having problems with my relationship, because, man, you don't understand how you position yourself in things. You just want to just stick your dick in things, man, not really pay attention to what the fuck you're doing.
Right. And you said, you know what? You said that I was thinking this today as I met up with a homie of mine, and he was his chick was driving the car and he was in the passenger. I said, man, you need to slow down. He said, it ain't me, it's her.
Mm-hmm.
I said, damn.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's one, like, I don't know, the whole men driving in the passenger seat shit. If you sick or you drunk, okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, the man is supposed to be driving the car. It's just something about that just always seems effeminate to me.
Yeah.
It might seem simple, but that's a huge thing. It's like a little boy shit. You see it, you can tell the flow of the relationship based off seeing who drives the car more.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if it's not for health or you fucked up, okay, I get it. But other than that, there's some of these guys in relationship with a woman driving around everywhere they go.
I see that, and they don't even realize it. Even I think one time I was getting a slice. I'm gonna answer this brother Young High Flyers question, in a second. But I remember I was getting a slice from this one place. It was like I guess a church right next to it. And I guess during this whole COVID thing, so they're outside. So the guy sitting in the passenger seat of his car, the passenger seat of his girl's car, and they're both looking over at me. The girl's looking at me. They don't even realize, man, because I came in my own shit. You can tell just by I carry it. That ain't happening. I'm not sitting in no fucking passenger seat. Even if it's your fucking car, it's still my shit.
That's not.
I don't get these brothers, man. They just just got the little milk mustaches and everything like that, man. I just don't get them, man. He said, what's your version of the Trinity in 2001? I'm gonna actually say something that's gonna throw people off, because you can't look beyond her dude and look at her. And look beyond certain behaviors. You're like, oh, well, no, she might be ratchet, but you can actually coach her. She just needs some good coaching. What's that chick's name?
Brittany?
No. what's that chick, that Spanish chick that said what the fuck is her name? She's with that dude from the Migos.
Saweetie?
No, other one.
Cardi B.
Yeah. That's Trinity.
Drop.
Yeah, we gonna talk about that. That's Trinity. Cats didn't even peak game with that. She's with a
Most won't
knucklehead.
even understand that.
She just picked a knucklehead. She just needs some good coaching. She's right around that right coaching. Man, she's stuck with him no matter what. And he's a nut. Imagine she's with a thorough dude that really can lace her. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, because she does have a lot of influence. She has a lot of power. She's very influential. Hell, she sat down and talked with Donald Trump and Joe Biden.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but a lot of people, they don't see the value in that.
Mm-hmm.
Again, because they're looking at the other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They're looking at the fleshy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But and it's sad because a lot of good women go to waste because they with simps and
Mm-hmm.
entertainers who don't necessarily teach.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? He said, "Yo, high five." I said, "Yeah, you threw me off with
Yo,
that."
yeah. Oh yeah. I know.
Hey,
It was a
that's the
couple I
next
had in
drop.
mind. It was a couple I had in mind, but I was like, let me hit him with that one.
Yeah, yeah, most certainly. I can
Mm-hmm.
see it. We always talk about the Kim K's, the Brittany Bundles. Cardi
Mm-hmm.
B's another one.
Mm-hmm.
Very influential.
Mm-hmm.
Kylie, what's her name? Kyrie, damn.
Kylie Jenner, one of them.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Kylie Jenner or some shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
Another one, very influential. But guys will look at it and say, "Oh, she did this and that." Bro, that's Man Cave Vlogging has a thing where he says guys are obsessed with purity. And he's 200% right, fam. A Trinity does not mean she's a virgin.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first thing with you niggas. You got to get it. A Trinity means she has experience to be able to handle the challenges that your life and your vision may entail.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have a virgin woman who's never been in a relationship, how the hell can she be a Trinity?
Mm-hmm.
And she doesn't have any experiences.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Exactly.
important. A woman like a Cardi B, she has experience. You need a woman who's been through things,
Mm-hmm.
good, bad. You know what I'm saying? It's
Mm-hmm.
just that whole purity. Oh, I want a virgin chick who's never been in a relationship, and so she can love me and she'll never leave me. That's some void filling weak shit to me.
Exactly. Why do you think a prostitute can actually makes money? As far as it's not because because of the sex or whatever like that, because she knows how to bond with that guy that wants to step outside of his marriage, or his wife doesn't appreciate him, doesn't connect with him, doesn't care about his interests. Because a woman that has a sexual past, it's not really just the sex. She knows how to interact with the man. She knows how to basically connect with how he feels. He's able to listen. Like, look at Erica Badu, and Erica Badu is another one, another Trinity. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? It, she knows how to basically connect with that guy. You know, she has the experiences and stuff like that. A whore in some asses has maybe more value than the virgin. You're not going to meet a virgin this day in 20,020. You're not going to meet a virgin. You're not going to meet a woman that only had 3 or 4 bodies. Get over it. She probably done fucked more than you. You know.
and if you do come across a virgin, you don't have enough information to get her, and you're probably not in the right religion or culture to get her.
Mm-hmm.
There's plenty of them out there. It just, are you willing to go live in Afghanistan and go turn Islam?
Exactly.
Then you probably ain't gonna get it. You know what I'm saying? But guys shouldn't want that. They speaking of virgin. Like, to me, that's some punk shit. Like, I don't want to say it's punk. Let me take that back. I don't want to say it's punk shit, especially because of the spiritual implications of virginity and body count and all that. But if you're not the type of man who's living that type of lifestyle where you are spiritually grown and all that stuff, you shouldn't be worrying about that. You should just learn and get the experiences to be a better man.
Exactly. Exactly. Oh yeah, we definitely do have to wrap this because the brother, I believe they are live, man. We're gonna have to tap into a part 2 of this if
Facts. Hey, count me in, man. Whenever you're
Indeed,
ready.
indeed, man. So I feel like we can really open this one up and really break down, you know, value and give you a perspective as far as what to really stumble across. What do you actually look for versus what you're seeing? It's a difference between what you see, two eyes, and versus knowing what to look for. How to actually find that gold.
That's facts, man. That's facts. Hey, like we were saying before, you guys make sure you put your Cash App on there and your PayPal, Ice. But also, you
Hmm.
guys make sure you check out the brother other Ray J's page because he got a video going live right now with
Hmm.
Top Chakra.
Indeed, blessing. Yes, indeed. We about to wrap this up, man. Yeah, the PayPal's under the same name. The Cash App is under the same name. Um, I appreciate y'all, and the upper echelon. You know.
It was a pleasure, brother.
Likewise, family.
Be easy.
You too. Peace.